of Facebook groups just to make sure we can get audience we want. But we'll start off. Weren't you just on vacation, bro?
Yeah, man. South Carolina, Hilton Head.
Where's that?
That's a good question. I've never been in South Carolina before, but I've always heard of this place, Hilton Head. It's just a beach on the, I think it's on the southern part of the state. You've heard of Myrtle Beach, right?
Yeah, isn't that northern South Carolina?
I think the Myrtle Beach is northern, I think, but I think Hilton Head is southern. Yeah. It was cool. We left just in time, though, before that hurricane hit or was getting close or whatever. Hit? Yeah, I think they locked down our entire resort the day we left. So if we didn't leave, we left Monday morning. I think by Monday afternoon, they had it all shut down.
Why in the world did you pick South Carolina for a vacation?
Because we've been everywhere else and we needed to stay in the U.S. I wanted to go to Mexico or somewhere else. I didn't want to travel out of country just in case we got stuck there, quarantined or whatever else, Yeah. So that's why it was just somewhere we never been, and we heard a lot about it before. So
my boy Jason Pritchard he's been going to Mexico like every month. I think he's going again next month.
Every month?
Back like every month. He loves it, dude.
He might as well move there.
He hasn't had any really problems. And he went down there and he was like, yeah, bro, everybody down there is from LA in California.
Really?
Yeah, everybody down there's been from California.
Crazy.
Almost done.
I wonder what the deal is. Why
What's
there?
What's the favorite place you've been to, bro?
Maui, for sure.
Maui. I've never been to Maui. I've gone to the Big Island. I've gone there a couple times.
Yeah. Maui's nice, man. It's really nice. It's more of it's a little less touristy than like the Big Island would be. It's just not really as fun when you have a family, for kids and stuff, but it's cool for like a couples kind of retreat. But we took our whole family last summer there and everybody had a blast.
I think this is all the groups that we need. Get into a couple more.
I'm trying to get some more light in here or something. It's real dark in here. It's like overcast where I'm at, and I'm in the basement too, so it's already kind of a dungeon.
All right, man. Awesome. I got it showed to everyone everywhere. So you want to tell everybody your name, where you're from, primarily what you do?
Yeah, man. I'm Graylan Stewart from Oklahoma City. I also live in Denver. For those that do know me, I live in 2 different states, which is kind of crazy. Been doing that for 7 years now. But I do wholesaling primarily. We have some buy and holds that we do and occasional flips, but mostly wholesaling is kind of our main focus.
Okay. So, you're a lot older than I thought you were, man. When I met you, I didn't think you have kids around my age.
I know. It's crazy. Yeah. People say I look, they don't believe I have kids that old. But yeah, 20-year-old and an 18-year-old. It's pretty crazy.
So how did you get into real estate? Like what got you started in real estate and what did you do before?
So I've done marketing and advertising pretty much my whole adult life, most of my adult life. And I was just getting burned out, on the hustle of that. Because it's like you're always searching for new business, right? That's the name of the game in any type of business, really. But, that's a business to where you got to always be searching for new customers, because if you got one that cancels, you need a new one to replace it, right? So there was always hunting for a new business. And that just got old after a while, doing that for 15 years or so. And so I was searching in the middle of the night one night. I don't even know what I was looking for, but I was on YouTube and came across a video about wholesaling. So I was like, wow, this is kind of interesting. This is like, it seemed like it was just sales and marketing. I'm like, that's what I do. So yeah, I started looking into that and, that was like 2 a.m. So I stayed up another 3 or 4 hours watching different videos, whatever I could find. And, within a week, I already had a website built and direct mail campaign started and the rest is history, man. But I was already in marketing and sales, so I already knew how all that worked. That's why I could build a website fast because we do that for clients. I do still have a marketing business, by the way. It's just mostly digital these days. But anyway, yeah, I learned fast and I already knew kind of the basics of it. I already knew how to do sales and marketing. It was just the ins and outs of wholesaling, which isn't rocket science, right?
Right.
So I hit the ground running fast.
Wholesaling is pretty, all I say is like, I pretty much have a sales and marketing business. And
Yep.
like wholesaling is like the widget.
Yep,
Like,
exactly.
all wholesaling is like legit sales and then you're marketing to people. But I still feel like wholesaling is the same hamster wheel is that you're on before, it's just bigger checks.
Yep, exactly.
You know, like that, at least that's how
Yeah.
I feel. And I know you have rentals and everything else. And like that's the direction you're going. Like
Sure.
that, because wholesaling is like it's nonstop deal chasing, and then you
Right.
make a big check and you're like, okay, we can make 9 more big checks. We'll spend this whole big check
Right.
on marketing.
Mm-hmm.
That's at least that's the tunnel I get into.
Yeah, I just like it
Start making a
for
lot
the
of money.
big cash part of it, because it's, I mean, it's literally like an ATM. If you need a quick 10 grand, okay, do a deal, I mean, that's
Yeah.
what it is. But as far as long-term wealth goes, obviously everybody wants passive income, which technically rentals aren't really passive in my opinion, but which is why I like to do either owner finance or, somewhere along those lines to where I'm not really a landlord,
Yeah.
but I still own the property. So that's kind of
What
my
made you
vision.
get into owner finance, and like what got you started into that route?
Because 3 months into wholesaling, I already bought my first rental, and I was like, all right, cool. I'm already starting the long-term stuff now too. And I just found out real fast that landlording is not for me, man. It's like, I mean, that's worse than babysitting in my opinion. So that's why I was like, well, the next houses I get or do, I'm doing owner finance, either rent to own as far as lease option goes, or straight owner finances to someone. So that's kind of what I've done ever since that first one. So I still have that first one as a regular rental. That's my only regular rental, and I've got I think I have 11 total. So I only technically have one tenant, and the rest are rent to own type of people. So
Where'd you learn how to do the owner finance? And do you like wrap it subject to, or are you just buying it cash and owner financing it?
almost all of them I bought cash and I owner finance it that way. The nicer houses I'll do lease option on, just because they're nicer. And typically, it sounds terrible, but most people don't exercise their option. I've heard like the industry standard is about 90% of people don't. Because that's most investors' kind of objection of why they want to keep it as a rental. Because you're going to lose the house if you lease option it, but you probably won't. You know what I mean? So I haven't been doing it long enough to know if people are going to exercise their options yet. But I mean,
And
if they do, that's cool. I get a big payday if they do. If they don't, I still got it as a cash flow and asset.
And do you put all the maintenance and repairs on your tenant buyer? That's what we do.
Yes.
We say everything's like on you. Like this is pretty much your house now.
Yep. Yeah, we make sure that that's clear up front. Like this is your house now. Because it's funny because actually a lady, and we're real detailed, like we want to make sure they understand everything, like this is your property. A lady moved into one of our places in Stillwater, Oklahoma, and she was like, hey, the AC is having trouble. It's real hot in here. It's like 100 degrees outside. I'm like, okay, why are you telling me this? She's like, well, it needs to be fixed. I said, well, you better call Heat and Air guy, right? I'm like, you own this house. I'm just your bank. That's it. She's like, okay. And gave me a sad face or whatever it was, but she got it fixed and hadn't heard from her since. So yeah, man, that's why I was like, that's why you didn't rent the house from me, because I'm not a landlord. That's why you're buying it,
Exactly. And we have one that's a lease option, and then we're selling another one on a wrap that is owner financed.
Yeah.
On Leron.
Boomer Center. That's right.
I hate so far, bro. Our wrap has just been bananas. It's been
Really?
I'd much rather do a lease option than do a
Oh yeah.
owner finance.
Yeah, me too.
It has been terrible. And so now
I've heard more horror stories with owner finance as opposed to lease option too. So I kind of rather do that route. But lower end properties, I'm not scared of the owner finance.
Really, and our owner finance is like, I think it's worth like 230, 240. And so it's a little bit different, but
yeah,
I don't know. It's just been a headache with escrow and everything else.
Yeah, I
Bill
bet.
mentioned you had a marketing background. Do you feel it also gave you confidence in negotiations?
Oh,
Or
for
was that-
sure.
oh yeah,
Yes, sales and marketing is all I've ever done. So that was the easy part to me. I mean, most people are scared to talk to sellers. Like
right.
that's the easiest part. And honestly, talking to sellers, distressed homeowners like we talk to all the time, that's so much easier than talking to a business owner down the street that I was calling on previous. You know what I mean? Because these are just people in distress. I mean, they're probably more scared than you are. Like, who's this guy calling me? You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
yeah, that was super easy to transfer into.
And for
It
me,
was
I feel
really
like
just
it's
learning how the whole
easier.
thing worked. So
I feel like it's
sorry.
easier business to business than it is at least wholesale to seller for the amount of, for lack of better words, sifting that we have to do to find the right client wholesale wise.
Yeah,
Like at least for like our call center, like
right,
people would come to us and we talk to them and then we just get the deal done and get them going. Like it's
right.
nowhere near the amount of sales we have to do for our marketing company.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, really sell and as far as talking to these sellers, which I don't do anymore, but I still like to. I do on occasion, but um, I mean, it's just talking to people. You know what I mean? It's you're just getting answering questions, basic things. You know what I mean? And they're glad to share it with you typically. So
Right.
pretty easy.
And what markets are you in, man?
Right now in Oklahoma City and Denver.
Denver.
Yeah,
Did we talk about
we're looking for another one, but
how competitive did you say Denver was?
man, Denver is crazy. You know, it's like it's hard to get a deal here. I mean, I feel like every market probably is pretty competitive, to be honest. But I think it's different in Denver because people know that the housing is crazy in Denver. Yeah, it's like stupid, you know, prices. Like for example, like a shack in Oklahoma City, I can maybe get for 30 grand. That exact same house in Denver is 300 grand, even though it's probably worth 30. But they can
Mhm.
get 300 grand, and they know they can, you know. So it's hard to get those at a discount as much as Oklahoma City. So it's a little bit tougher there for sure.
All that weed money, man. All that weed
I
money
know.
coming
And
in.
both states have all that now.
Oh,
It's
Oklahoma's
legal in
legal
both
too.
states. Yeah, it's crazy.
And so what does your company look like right now? Like acquisitions wise, and then we'll go into marketing a little bit as well.
So right now, I do all the marketing and dispo pretty much right now. But
Okay.
so I have two acquisitions managers. You know, I've been virtual from day one because I've lived in two states, so I had to be. Um, so my acquisition managers live in Scottsdale, Arizona, actually,
Oh,
and but one of them is I'm training him to move into dispo soon. He's actually getting his license to be a realtor in Oklahoma. He's going to move to Oklahoma and everything, just so we can have him on the ground there and can list deals easier for us there as well. Of course, we have a few realtors we work with already, but it'd be nice to have him on the team doing dispo and our in-house realtor as well. But so right now it's just me, two acquisitions for now, and then I'm down to one cold caller. I had two, but I let one of them go recently. So it's just four of us, and I have an assistant, but he does a little bit of everything for me in different businesses as well. So,
I
but
mean,
just for this company, there's four of us.
but you
That's
can
it.
make still a ton of money with only 4 people. You
Oh
know,
yeah, I
you can
mean
still have massive margins. One dude handles the acquisitions. You have a leads manager. You handle
yep,
dispo. You work like 3 times a week, if that. You
yeah,
know.
yeah. I mean, really, because we're pretty automated at this point now. It took a year or so to build the systems that we have, and it's been good. It was tough growing pains going through all that, but now that we're there, it's pretty streamlined now. I mean, anything that comes into our CRM is a qualified lead, and my acquisition manager just hounds those people all day. Taking live calls, doing follow ups, and everything else. And of course, the other acquisition. So really, there's three of us right now because the other one's just kind of he's finishing up his testing for getting his license and all that. So he'll be into dispo position probably within the next couple of weeks. But I don't even know where I was going with all that. But yeah, so basically, whatever comes in our CRM is all qualified. You know what I mean? So that makes it a lot easier So really, we don't even have a leads manager because it's not getting into our system unless it's qualified lead anyways.
Okay.
Just by the way that we have things set up. So that helps things a lot.
And how do you keep a problem I ran into is keeping my culture good, all virtual. So where do you find your acquisitions guys? How do you keep them motivated, keep them good, keep your company culture and everything else?
Yeah, that was tough, because, I just first started in September of 18. And so it hadn't even been 2 years yet. So right off, like I said, I hit the ground running, did 7 deals my very first month in October. But anyway, so right off, I was already kind of looking at scaling. Like I need to hire some people because I was doing everything at that point, right? And still new to the business, still trying to learn the whole process and meet new buyers and all those things. So I hired 2 cold callers, like in November, I believe. And it was tough, man. I mean, I didn't know what I was doing. I just needed help. I needed somebody to answer my calls. I needed somebody to follow up on calls because I was so overwhelmed. It was crazy. It was a good problem, but I was working a lot. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get into this to work a lot. And I do love to work, so I'm kind of a workaholic, anyways. But I mean, I was working all day long, doing every position, right? And so I went through several cold callers, and it sucked. So about probably a year into it, I had a guy reach out to me, which is my acquisition guy in Scottsdale. He worked for me for my marketing company probably 8 years ago. And he was like, man, I know you're in real estate now. I really want to work for you again. So we started kind of going through that process. And like last September of 19 is when I actually hired him. And what's funny is it was a very slow start for him. I ended up hiring his wife. So his wife, that's why they're both in Scottsdale. So his wife is the one that actually does acquisitions for me now. And it was just different than what he thought, because you got to pretty much be at your computer when you're virtual, especially all day long, and that just wasn't for him. That's why the whole dispo and realtor on the team made more sense for him because you can be out in the field and that kind of thing more. So that's why we're moving him into that. So as far as culture goes, we just, everything up front, he already knew who I was and what I was about and how I worked. That's why he wanted to work for me again, because he liked it before. He quit before because he moved to Colorado actually to sell timeshares. And then we just stayed in contact all these years. So yeah, so it's him and his wife and me. And it's been good. So it's not as hard when you have a small team to keep culture. We're all Christian, people, and try to do the right thing by people and everybody that we work with. So it's been good. And I definitely try to pay them well so that they stay motivated and want to get more. You know what I mean? Go ahead. Sorry.
Do you mind sharing like what your pay structure is with them?
Yeah. I mean, I just pay them a flat 15% commission. If they hit if we hit a certain amount of closings in a month, then I might give them an extra, percentage or two, just kind of month by month basis. There's nothing set in stone on that. I'll just throw them a little extra here and there, to show them I appreciate them or whatever. But I mean, they're definitely all in. Like I said, they're moving back to Oklahoma for this company pretty much.
That's
and awesome. What we do is their only source of income. So they're definitely motivated, and I'm excited to get, my guy into dispo because that'll help a lot too. So I can just focus on the company and marketing. I don't know if I'll ever give up that part of it, marketing.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole lifeblood of the business. So if that's messed up, nothing else really works. So I don't know if I'll ever give that up or not. I might. We'll see.
I still find myself I still want to pull my own list though, because I know exactly what I want.
Yep.
Like I know exactly, even if we go into a new market, I know how I'd want it set up, and I just don't trust anyone to do it yet. Maybe it's just fear of mine, but like we went into Indiana, and I've been the one like going into it, pulling all the lists, making sure everything's lined up, and then I send it to someone to get skip traced. Up until that point, like just at the first point of contact, I can't let that go.
Yeah, I know that's tough for me too. I don't know if it's control. I mean, in the past, I've always liked to do things myself, because I feel like I do it better, but it's just not scalable when you have to do everything on your own. So I'm slowly trying to get better at pawning things off on other people, I guess, for lack of better terms. But I have been started trying to record everything that I do,
Yeah.
so that eventually maybe I can, hand that off to someone, and it's kind of just laid out for them. Like, here's step by step everything you need to do, and videos to refer to if you need them. But yeah, it's a process.
One thing we started doing our call center, because we've grown so much and have had to hire on people and like move seats around. Anything anybody does, we have them record a video, and we have one VA go through and make an SOP for every video there is. And then
Nice.
Log it all. And and that way we can just kind of move people around. Like, all right, go sit in front of your computer for 3 hours. And the SOP and the video are so good that you shouldn't have to ask us any questions. Like, that's like what I tell them I want that to be. And so generally it's made it a lot easier. And I can only have to record one video, then they take it, run with it, do their own thing, record it, SOP it. And it's made that whole scaling aspect so much easier.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I definitely have done that too. I've tried to record every single part of the business, and that's helped, because you can just plug and play at that point.
Exactly. All right.
Yeah.
What did Dylan have? I recently started on my biggest obstacle. I recently started, and my biggest obstacle right now is qualifying leads and getting them on appointments. What would you recommend to set yourself apart from other cold call investors? Make more phone calls.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a numbers game. No matter what type of marketing you're doing, the more you do it, the more leads you get. The more leads, the more closings, obviously. But as far as setting apart, it's always like, I just try to do what I say I'm going to do. I don't ever like to go back to a seller and say, hey, we can't do this deal because I didn't find a buyer, or whatever. And there's occasions you can't find buyers, but we just close on them. And usually you make more on them anyways if you do that. It kind of sucks sometimes because you got to spend the cash, because we just use cash. We just close on the thing and put on the MLS, make more than we would have wholesaling it anyways. It just takes a little longer, but you did right by the seller. They're happy. And then you actually made your acquisitions manager more money, and the company more money too. So, but you can't do that on every deal. So you have to buy it right to begin with. That's the main thing.
And then, so that's how you got into real estate, and you're in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
What is your best marketing channel?
Facebook by far.
You were telling me that. And I told you Facebook was absolutely trash.
Yeah.
For me, my friend Matt Garabedian, we're all posting about it like, man, it's dog shit. And then Matt's like, I spent 50 grand and I made 55 grand.
Dang. Oh, at least he got a return, sort of. But yeah, that sucks.
With man hours into it, like, you're down 10 grand, dude.
For real.
And then,
yeah, that's tough. So far, I've been lucky to be able to. I haven't lost money on any marketing channel yet. 2 years in, but I've almost broke even on my last huge direct mail campaign. That was super disappointing, but still made a little money on it. But yeah, I wouldn't have done it again for that price. But yeah, dude, Facebook is killing it right now. RVMs are still good. SMS is okay. I told you cold calling doesn't work super great for me. We do get deals, so I still do it, obviously. But of course, I have my guys do SEO on my website, so I do get website leads as well, which that works good. But yeah, Facebook, it's not even close. Like, I ran my numbers just for the last 2 months, June and July. We got 30 Facebook leads, and 11 of them closed with deals. 11 turned into deals.
What?
That's stupid, yeah. And you know how much we spent on those leads during those 2 months? $3,256, and we made $118,000 on it.
That's madness.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That is madness. What do you think you're doing differently than other people? Because I hear a ton of people say the same stuff I do about Facebook leads.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough too. So like I said, I have a marketing company, so we've even handled Facebook ads for our clients and different things like that. But marketing for motivated sellers is a whole different beast. Like, it's not even close to the same as normal Facebook ads. You know what I mean? So that was the hardest thing. I feel like if you can figure that out and master that, then, man, you're gold. But it's hard. I mean, you have to spend a lot of money to figure it out, buy courses, whatever you got to do to make it and figure it out. But once you do figure it out, I mean, especially now, everybody quarantined or whatever, with this crazy stuff going on. I mean, people are on their phones or laptops or whatever, stuck at home, surfing Facebook. The generation that we want is not on Instagram necessarily or any of those kind of things. They're on Facebook, where most people are. So.
Yeah. And then now let's go into that JV program. And let's talk about how in the world did you find out about it? How'd they reel you in, the whole situation? And then we'll talk about, okay, how can people avoid some nonsense like that?
Yeah. So I'll give people a little background on that since they probably don't know what you're talking about. So I started September of 18, right? I literally was in Vegas with my wife when I got my first phone call. I was trying to plan out the postcards, because I had postcards already set up within a week after learning about wholesaling. They hit on a Saturday, and I was hoping they would hit on Monday because I'd be back home. Anyways, got calls, did 2 deals over the phone in Vegas, 2 weeks in or whatever. So my first deal closed on October 3rd of 18. And so we ended up closing 7 deals in October. So anyways, we did like 6 or 7 deals, October, November, December, January, all these months in a row. We were doing 6 or 7 every single month. So I was like, I got to figure out how to scale this. I can't keep doing this all by myself. It was driving me crazy. So I was just reaching out, looking on YouTube, wherever I could find, like, how can I scale this? So I came across this guy that I was following him for a long time. And I'm not going to mention names or anything, but, and I still like the guy today. I don't have any hard feelings over him, but he had this program. I bought into the program. It was a lot of money, 50 grand, but it was worth it to me. I'm like, that's a couple of deals, no big deal. So I bought into it, but yeah, it was basically, and it's nothing like the Keegley's model, which I think is pretty cool, but it's kind of a big JV deal, really, to where you're kind of creating your own ecosystem, creating just a team of minions, for lack of better words. And it just wasn't for me because it just turned into a huge babysitting gig. And my whole goal was to work less, not more, and babysit a ton of people, So long story short, I did that from February of 2019 till finally like July or August. I'm like, it's time to cut my losses. I can't do this anymore, because I literally stopped my wholesaling business from doing 6 or 7 deals. I was averaging like 72,000 a month or so at that time to zero. I literally made $0 from February to like September of 19 because I stopped it to do this whole other thing, right? Because I was all in. I mean, everything I do, it's all or nothing for me. That's just the way I operate. So I was all in on the thing. I should have never stopped my normal wholesaling business, but that was kind of like their suggestion, like, here's what you need to do. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do what they're saying to do, and give it a shot. So it wasn't for me. So I regrouped. I'm like, okay, I got to build a system to be able to make this work the way I originally wanted to actually scale, right? With people working for me, not just people out there hoping you'll find a deal or whatever. So so I didn't make money all those months. And keep in mind, I live in 2 states, so I have 2 households to take care of, cars and everything, 2 full households that I own houses in both areas. So, and my wife works and makes a good living, but I was like, well, we're not going to change our lifestyle because I'll come back from this. Don't worry. You know what I mean? So I'm like, we're not changing anything. We're still doing vacation. We're still doing everything. Everything's going on as normal, right? So in the meantime, we didn't really have the money to do that, but I'm like, it's going to be okay. I don't care if we got to use credit cards, whatever it takes. So long story short, I mean, I went into credit card debt, probably 150 grand in 2019. Just keeping up with bills and dumping more money into figuring this whole thing out, right? Learning these systems and all these processes and getting all that set up. So finally, like probably October-ish, that's when I brought my guy on. He came on like the end of September, but October, we started marketing again in Oklahoma and Denver again. And it was slow, because they were like still kind of working a job. He was still working a job part-time. So he was only working for me a couple of days a week at that point, and still trying to learn the whole process. then we had holidays coming up, so there's vacations planned and all kinds of crazy. So we didn't really get anywhere through the end of the year, right? It wasn't until like January, pretty much January of this year, to where we finally started getting traction from that marketing and where they can actually put time in. And it was February when I hired his wife. And that was a game changer when she got on board, because she actually could put full-time attention into it, because he still had his other job, but then that finally kind of went to the wayside with the whole pandemic thing. But yeah, so February is when we really cranked it up, started doing good deals again. I mean, we were still always probably doing one or two when he first started, like October, November, maybe one or two here and there by accident, but probably starting February, we started, doing like 6 or 7 again, like I was doing by myself, a year previous. And now, it's just a few short months later, when the pandemic hit, a lot of investors kind of cut out. Well, I like tripled down. I'm like, this is my time to take market share. I mean, I understand what marketing is. So this is my chance. So yeah, we did that huge direct mail campaign, which wasn't great, but we did make money on it. But I pretty much tripled every marketing budget that we had for every, all the different avenues that we use. So, and it's panned off. You don't get all that back in 1 month, but
Yeah.
we've consistently gotten a lot of deals, since then, and just still trying to look at growing more and scaling even bigger. I mean, I'm not trying to be some giant company or anything like that. We're always going to be virtual. It's always going to be a small team. I'm going to have, Dustin's going to move to Dispo, so we'll have 1 acquisitions, 1 Dispo. I actually did hire a temporary transaction coordinator. It just didn't work out for what we both wanted out of it, I guess. So I'm still going to hire that position. But I mean, I feel like just those 5, acquisitions, disposition, transaction, marketing, and then maybe 1 cold caller. I mean, I think with 5 people, I could easily do, $1.5 million to $2 million a year, probably.
Yeah. And if you need a transaction coordinator, I have a great one that's just by the file, and it's been the best thing I've ever done. And it's like $350 a file. Oh, did we lose him? He said his internet might go out. Downer. And so when they say transaction coordinator, that's just someone who's going to handle all of the nonsense, talking to escrow, kind of grinding them out and making sure that the deal gets to the finish line. And so our transaction coordinator handles all of our documents. She coordinates with the seller, she coordinates with the buyer, and coordinates with escrow. And so once it gets everything signed, then we don't have to worry about anything, and all we're worrying about is closing dates and still focusing on getting more deals. And then I know 2 more questions I'm going to ask him is I don't know where he finds his cold callers, because he goes through a lot. I hope he's gone. And then the next one I'm going to ask him after that is, I mean, how do you battle that mentally? Because most people would just give up and declare bankruptcy. Like it's insanity to think like I'm $150,000 in debt, and this happened in like a 6-month period, and a lot of people would just mentally break. But then there he is.
All right, man.
You're good,
Like I
boss.
said, I'm in my basement, so sometimes the internet's not amazing.
I want to talk to you first about how the hell did you not mentally break? How did you handle being 150 grand in debt from where months before that you're making like 100 grand a month? Like you're making more money than most people make in 2 years in a month.
Right.
And then you're 150 grand in debt, and then you have to fight back, battle it, get back to where you're profitable again. But then just like that daily mental battle, that daily mental grind, the faith in yourself, like all of that, I think is super impressive, because anyone else is like, man, fuck this. I'm declaring bankruptcy. I can start over. It's only credit card debt. Like I know a dude who did that.
Yeah.
He's like, man, I'm like 150 grand in credit card debt. I'm over it. I'm declaring bankruptcy.
Yeah, man. I mean, I just feel like, there's definitely no quit in me, no matter what I do. I always strive to be the best at everything that I do. But at the same time, that's my responsibility. You know what I mean? I accrued that debt, so I'm going to take on that debt and I'm going to pay for that debt. That's just kind of my mentality. But even earlier in life, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago now, I went through a divorce, and that was tough on me too, man. It was a lot of credit card debt, a lot of just debt from the divorce itself. Still a giant house I was still paying for while I was still paying for an apartment. You know what I mean? It was tough.
Mhm.
The easy way out, definitely even then, would have been bankruptcy. Because we ended up selling that house for like 150 grand less than we had into it, and I had to come to the table with like 60 grand to get out of it, and my
Dude.
ex had to as well. So it was just like, this wasn't part of what I'm made up of. You know what I mean? It was my problem. I was going to handle it. So that's what I did. Same thing with this, it's like, yeah, it's 150 grand. That's a lot of money, but I know that once I get things going again, I can make that back in a month or two pretty easy. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I didn't even say that part. So earlier this year, obviously we paid everything off, because we were already moving again, and got a lot of cash flow in the bank again, and can do good things with that money now as far as making it grow more. So yeah, just mentally, I guess, it's just got to stay strong, I guess. You know what I mean? That's all I can
And
say. Never give up.
do you credit that to your faith? I know you said like you're a faith guy, because like for me, I'm not a faith guy at all. Like it's pretty much like my support system and me.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I'm definitely, God's on my side, I feel, because try to pray to him every day, to thank him for what I have, and ask him, bring us more deals, and thank him for those deals as well. But yeah, just always believing that he will take care of us, and he's never let me down yet, so and gave me the work ethic, so I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, I'm always consistent in everything that I do, and relentless in my pursuit of what I'm going after. You know what I mean? So, and God made me that way. So that's it.
And so we'll go back to your cold callers. It sounds like you cycle through them a lot. At the beginning, where did you find them? How did you train them and everything else?
Yeah.
And where do you
So
find them now?
I'm a terrible trainer. That's why making these videos has been a huge help, because I can just show somebody how to do it now.
Right.
Go figure it out. It's like, here it is, just do it. And if they can't do that, then they probably can't do that. You know what I mean? So yeah, initially I went to Upwork, found my first cold caller. Actually, my first person I hired was to answer calls. So she was kind of my lead manager, I guess.
Mhm.
So she took the calls, because I had direct mail campaigns going out. That's all I did at first, because my marketing company, we were heavy in direct mail as far as doing that for customers. So I already believed in direct mail. Anyway, so she was taking all the calls, and it just wasn't working out. Just obviously the language barrier, because she is from the Philippines. She was making $3 an hour, and I got her from Upwork, and I had her for probably 6 months. It just came to where she was always asking for advances, for whatever issues going on in her life. And I'm like, I'm not a bank, or I feel bad for you. I want to help you, but if she was like a producer, then it probably wouldn't have been that big a deal. But she wasn't really. And I had another cold caller in the meantime, and she was actually with me almost 2 years. I just let her go like in December, I think, or maybe earlier this year. I just saw what a real cold caller could do, because I hired a new one like in February, like doubling this girl's numbers in half of the time. I'm like, I just didn't know that was what they should be able to do. So that's why I was like, I gave her a chance. Like, hey, here's what I need you to do, and if you can't do that, I'm gonna have to, move on to someone that can. And after a couple months, she just couldn't do it. But no hard feelings, just business. But yeah, it's been tough, man. But yeah, so as far as the new ones go, I'm gonna have videos, and I use ZenCall for our dialer. I had a lady I work with there a lot. She recorded a few videos for me, even because she knows how our system works and everything. So she's recorded a few. My acquisition manager, she's recorded a couple of them, because she actually did a little bit of cold calling to pass time here and there as well. So, and then I've done a few videos. So now it's a lot easier as far as that goes, but it's still a challenge, man. There's always still, like, they don't quite understand fully, if they're from the Philippines, our whole culture. There's always still a little bit of an accent, even though you can find some of them that talk really, really good English. But it's just been tough, man. Cold calling. I know cold calling works. I know a ton of people that's all they do, or that's the majority of what they do. And I do believe in it, or I wouldn't still do it either, because we do get deals from it. But it just hasn't been our main thing.
Yeah. And for me, the accent isn't as big of a deal if they are on board 100% culturally, right?
I agree with that. Yep.
And then it is harder, like in the middle of America and in the South, to have Filipino callers because there's not a lot of Asians down there. And so they automatically think they're getting called by a call center. And it doesn't come across as genuine. We're running across that with some of our clients in the South right now.
Yeah.
Where, like, if we have someone in San Francisco, there's plenty of people who sound like our Filipinos anyways. So we're good.
Mm-hmm. True. Yeah, and you're all right as far as the culture goes, like, because you can just tell, if it's a telemarketer, you can just tell. But if they really know the culture, it doesn't sound so telemarketer-ish, I guess. But yeah, we still do cold calling. I even got sued recently, and that was $7,500, and we still do it. So that doesn't shy me away from it either.
Send me that guy's info. I got to add it to our Facebook group.
Yeah, I need to. I should tell you like live right now, so everybody can jot his name down. Let me see. His name is Mark. It's like Austinberg or Austinberger or something crazy like that. But he's a serial
litigator.
Serial litigator. That's good. That's what he does for a living. Honestly, he's a realtor in California, but I promise you, he makes more money litigating people. Because I paid $7,500 with a good lawyer and with the correct tactics. So most people that don't, they probably pay 3 to 4 times that amount at a minimum. Because I think my attorney told me he thinks that the guy's made over $1 million in the last year and a half suing people. It's crazy. So, but his name is like Mark Ossenberg or something like that. So if anybody ever sees that name come across their leads, get him out of your leads ASAP, because he will sue you. And he's actually suing one of my friends in Oklahoma City right now. So
that is insanity. Yeah, give me that info and I'll add it to our Facebook group too.
I will.
And then I think he sued someone in our market as well. Like, it's crazy. Yeah. Make sure you scrub everyone, scrub all your lists against like Batch Litigator Scrub has it.
Yeah.
And then I think it's Blacklist Lookup has an entire litigator scrub as well, just to get away from that. We don't scrub the DNC, but we do scrub against litigators. Yeah,
same here. And it's not foolproof. They're still going to have some that slip through, but yeah, it just happens. I mean, I just count it as a cost of doing business. It sucks, but we're still profitable even with it. So I'm okay with it, I guess, if you want to say that. I'm not okay with the guy because he's a scumbag, but at the same time, I'm okay with taking that risk. I have a high risk tolerance anyways, which I think you have to have as an entrepreneur anyways in most cases. So yeah, I'm good with it.
Awesome. And then we're going to tie this up real quick. What are your top 3 books, right, that you would recommend for entrepreneurs, people getting started, and then marketing wise too, since that is like
Yeah, man, top 3 books. So I just listened to one because we went to South Carolina for a vacation. Miracle Morning. I've never listened to that. I've heard about it a lot. That was really good, actually. Just kind of tells you how to start your day off and, all the things that it takes, to be successful. So that was really good. I'm looking through my Audibles right now because I don't really read, but I listen to Audibles a lot. So another good one that I really liked, course 12-week year is really good, and which is also the 1 hour work week. Same guy wrote both of those. So those are really awesome. And then there was another one that I read recently that I really liked a lot. Well, Profit First. I've always heard about that a lot too, but that one I'm implementing that right now. So I like that book a lot. Profit First. That's probably my favorite of recent ones that I've listened to.
And then
what else did you ask?
A really good one that just came out is The Magician versus the Mule by Mark Evans.
Okay. I think I've heard that. Yeah. The DM, huh?
Yeah. DM Master, the freaking godfather of all this stuff.
Yeah. That's crazy.
All right, man. Thank you so much for coming on. You got any parting words?
Yeah, man. I appreciate you having me. But yeah, anybody that's doing wholesaling out there, I mean, the name of the game, in my opinion, is just consistency, and not just consistency in your marketing, but consistency in every part of your business, because it takes every part of the business to make it really flow. Obviously, it starts with marketing, so that's most important, but just stay consistent and keep after it. You'll get it done.
And how can people reach out to you?
So I'm on Facebook mostly because I am part of that older crowd. I'm over my 40s. I'm on Facebook a lot, but I do have Instagram as well, which I'll reply to that too. That's the two biggest things. And I'm actually probably starting a YouTube channel, but I don't know about that yet, where it'll just be under my name if I do. So you'll be able to see me.
Awesome. Thanks so much for coming on, man.
Cool, man. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you.